Nourish, and Wrathful Advance, and Mecha-dog, aka best primary in Warframe. And the end result is this. But for those who don't really like thrown weapons, I have Siam. Maybe you like Korufel. Oh, those are just visual bugs. Or maybe you just like the classic swinging with melee influence. Also got something for ya. Honestly, I really like hate with melee influence and the blast. Oh, they got blasted. But my personal favorite will always be Cerata, which I called Big Dam. Whenever you see my video and you see Big Dam, that's not a glaive, that's Cerata. And this is the exact reason why. I just jump up, throw, boom, behemoths are dead. But maybe you're just brand new and you wanna use Korudo with half of the available mods. Well, tankiest unit, Steel Pot. Tankiest outside of Behemoth, of course. Well, let's pummel them to death then. Oh, but what am I wasting time for? I can just press my tree and clear them real quick. So, one more time, half of them was Korudo. Whatever that shit is, and from wherever I got it. Let's just shame them up real quick and beat them to death. So, let me give you a little bit lore about how I got to Kullervo. And I honestly farmed him only because I wanted his helmet, Wrathful Advance. But I fell hard in love with that frame. It was like everything I really wanted. And then I also realized that the helmet version of Wrathful Advance is literally halved in power in terms of how much melee critical chance you get. And I learned about his passive and how Overguard works. I was already like in heaven in terms of how godlike Kullervo was for me back then, but then I also realized how collective curse works, and then I realized how it's gonna work with thrown weapons that explode in AoE, hitting 20 enemies for 2.1 bill each, and then you put chains on top of that shit. Bro, you do realize if you melee swing one enemy, it will split that damage to all other enemies chained. So if you hit all 20 enemies, every enemy will share that damage he got hit with to every other chained enemy. And you get cascade of such insane amount of damage, it's really hard to explain in words, just do simple math. I kinda realized then that I mainly use my thrown weapons, so I don't really use that often, outside of me just literally wanna flex on stream for everyone to watch how much of stupid damage it can do. So I mostly ended up using it only when I was using an actual melee, not a melee throne. And for those who were enjoying the range builds, well, that shit is gone since they fixed LOS on this. And by fixed, I mean they completely fucked it up, and now it just works bad. So if some pack of enemies in open, you can feel free to chain them. But if there's like obstacles and stuff, it's at least one of them not gonna get chained. Not to speak about completely working through walls like before. That thing is in the past. And about his fourth ability in the augment, well, I started using him when that wasn't the thing, there was no augment, so I got so used to have a helmet on that slot that I just cannot really like go and use the augment for the combo points, since it's not really needed in the loadout I'm using with Kullervo, and I just really love Nourish or Roar. Like, I used to min-max with Eclipse and Roar and stuff like this, but I do damage cap no matter what, so I just prefer to always have energy to have easy time when I wanna do level cap. Because without spamming your 2 and 1, there is no level cap on him. Overguard is just inferior to any other shield gating possibilities. Armor is inferior damage reduction. Adaptation can only help you stay alive as long as it takes you to like do ASAP, Overguard, or Wrathful Advance to your target. But since it's Warframe, it doesn't always like perform the heavy attack from the Wrathful Advance. Sometimes it just teleports you straight up in front of your target, and it doesn't do the heavy swing. But this, whenever it does the heavy swing, it immunes you, grays out your HP. This grays out your HP for 0.5 or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. And also the Overguard, when it breaks, it also gives you that brief period of immunity. And this is Ishi, the only way you stay alive in level cap. You can tank maybe 1-2 hits with adaptation and Umbra mods, but that's pretty much the maximum of it. I just play him so much that I managed to stay alive, and I use thrown weapon They have insane kill per second with that heavy attack wind-up speed that Kullervo brings you, but you gotta master those like short, very short, brief immunity periods. But you can stay alive very easily in like any base steel path mission. He actually crushes all of the base steel path easily. You need defend, you need interception, just socket a fucking Xoris with melee influence and go for it. No problem. And actually let me do it a bit differently for this video since it's my main. So let's shook up things a little bit and let me take you for a mission right now to the mod, the usual mission. So here we are in the mission. I'm just gonna get my combo points and my overguard real quick. I'm gonna get my ability strength with Noctua just to start it off hard. And here we go. Let's do first damage cap. Oh, the game lagged. Don't even need to explode my glaive to be fair. Everything will die. I mean my Cerata, just reminding you. I call all the thrones glaives. That's without like pressing the heavy attack on. Let's get some more ability strength. No leash with it. Boom. And some. Ah, I killed them before I could explode myself. Oh, even more overguard. Chain them up. And look, that guy's up. This is so annoying after the change. And chain. Maybe damage cap now. Some more combo points generated needed. One for Bill. One Bill. Damage cap. Completely bananas with the numbers. It wasn't even that usual to one Bill. I mean, my Cerata is pretty decent with that Riven, I'm gonna lie. It kills them without even the crit buff. In an instant. Get some more ability strength. I usually play with Dispatch Overdrive in my Exilus, and I'm testing out the Whirlwind to get my Cerata further with the Trolls. And it gets really hard to explode on what you want, the way you want. And I just wanna load it in a way so I can flex the damage on it. And my Mecha-dog, by the way, has like the Link mods. So my Mecha-dog is kinda tanky. I'm not that tanky. I have a bunch load of HP from Umbra mods. But even with adaptation, you can clearly see what's gonna happen in the level cap missions. So all you have to do, spam your overguard and your HP grays out for a moment. You can also use what I mainly use, at least when I try this level capping missions. I usually go for the survival first of all, because it's way easier. Second of all, I use cold like this on the primer dog, because it helps a lot, especially if he doesn't derp around and he's close to you. By the way, abusing the Wrathful Advance with thrown weapons is really easy because the wind-up is really slow. And it gains out your HP for whole duration. Got to a different room. How much augmented I have? Oh, I don't have augmented on me. Well, I usually have augmented when I have glaives. If I don't use glaives, I use normal weapons. I use arcane strike. Not primer doing its job just perfectly. Everything always primed up with something. But those are, by the way, rocking, and my Cerata is fully stacked with corrosive damage. The only viral damage I have for them is off of my Nourish, and you know how Nourish looks like after the nerfs. Let's see how we're gonna deal with the Torment guy. Not even gonna explode my glaive on him. Waste of combo points. This is without exploding or even like keeping track on my power throw. Something will be dying. So trust me, we'll have like dealing with level cap on him. Damage is the last thing you will ever have a problem with. The only problem you will have is survival, because Overguard's not shield gating. But you can do a budget version of shield gating. But that's pretty much all you can do. And just quickly before we go further into the video, and as you guys see, 90% of you are not subscribed. So if you're enjoying my work, please leave that subscribe for me. Thank you in advance, and let's continue with the video. So let's kick it off with swapping to my classical multi-augmented, and that's how it's gonna be looking for my Kullervo build that I play for 95% of the time, because I usually use drones. We go with Fury and multi-augmented, Heal Charge, or how it's called, Throwing Power, Preparation. I only just use it because I wanna start with full energy, like it's not needed. You can slap up Power Drift to get even more ability strength, and instead of adaptation, you can, for the base steel pad that is, slap on Augur Secrets for even more ability strength, and Blind Rage, Transient, all for that ability strength, Primed Continuity, Primed Flow, and I have Umbral mods, but you don't really need them. You can go with Narrow-Minded, because most of the time you don't really wanna heavy swing with Wrathful Advance, and yeah, it's pretty annoying when it does for me, because 99% of time when I don't want, it heavy swings, and I want, it just teleports me straight in front of like a mob that I wanna immune myself on. So yeah, there are problems in Warframe with several small things like that. You could of course play range build, why would you, especially after the line of sight changes, or more like fuck ups on it. Like it's just better to use a thrown weapon with a high explore range like Xoris if you really wanna do AoE, and it's gonna be better than like using chains. But all of the Kullervo abilities, they are made like, they will not interrupt your melee swings, melee like wind-ups and stuff like this. Those abilities are made to be used during your like melee swings and stuff like this, so you can always like press that during anything you do in terms of like melee or throwing. For the combo points, I'm using his signature weapon, Rauta. It gives you combo points with a limit of 28 per shot, so you need a little bit of multi-shot to reach that 14, because every pellet gives you 2 with a cap of 28. So I have it built with more multi-shot, why not, and fire rate, accuracy, fire rate, magazine capacity, recoil, magazine capacity, fire rate, and minus damage. And some extra... Why the fuck I have unranked mod in here? Huh. Always can fix something, I guess. But this is how it's gonna be looking like, and primary dexterity to get... Even when we use Naramon, we're just not losing the combo as often. And the Noctua just looks as simply as that. We have Vom Invocation, multi-shot to get as many, Blind Fulmination to cover as many. This I actually just tested and I didn't really like. And Carnage Stinger, because as we killing everything with the heavy attack, why not? This is the Cerata build I was using. I only use it to do the biggest hits, so I can show off a little bit. With melee exposure, to sacrificial mods, great Cerata even, power throw, volatile quick return because bigger explosion equals better, focus energy to reach the 90% cap with Kullervo's passive, Amalgam Shatter, and Prime Fever Strike. But if you wanna focus more on melee influence and some AoE ownage, you can use Xoris with melee influence, of course. I'm using Corrosive since I have Nourish, and I also use Focus Energy to cap that heavy efficiency. And I have like I don't really know if it's worth to have a Riven, but I guess I get elemental and crit damage, so why not? And pretty much similar build, double Umbra, Power Throw, Prime Fever, Volatile, Quick Return, Amalgam Organ Shatter, pretty much same build. Just the thing, like as I said in my video before on Throne weapons, Xoris is one of these that Whirlwind maxed out is really making the weapon feel way better. And this is the build I was using for hate, for those who don't really like to spam heavy attacks. Well, it's whatever you're gonna put in your Exilos, it doesn't really matter. But I have built Blast with electricity. You need to make sure you get Blast like this, because the innate on hate Incarnon is heat. So make sure you have heat, and you have cold, and you have electricity. And I don't use, even though I sometimes myself use the heavy attack, and use focus energy here since I got a Riven with electric, crit damage, and heavy attack efficiency. I have minus status duration, but you saw how much it matters in, like, it just blasts them up, yeah? And the thing is, like, since I get a lot of crit from Kullervo, I'm using this for last Incarnon evolution instead of, like, the base crit chance. Because nothing will come close to Kullervo's ability in terms of giving the critical strike chance. So having the status, in my opinion, way better. 112 status, amazing. I press number 1 ability and I'm on like 700% crit, so who gives a shit about that 10% base crit? I'm considering, oh, I already did consider, I guess, I had Blood Rush before here, but if I use Kullervo, I just took it off for melee elementalist. And if you're interested in the other evolutions, the obvious one, more combo if you have weapon equipped and the range, even though I don't really use the range because I'm using only the projectiles to get the blaster. So for the Mecha-dog, I'm using this setup for the weapon on the dog. You can pause it for the mods if you want. And dog himself got the standard repertoire, just in a Kullervo's version. Link Vitality, Link Fiber, look at the armor, and Fiber, because why not just double the armor, because it doubles the armor when you pick the health instead of just giving the base armor, which is amazing, that's why it's here. Primed Pack Leader, yeah, not maxed, but I CBA changing formas, especially that I use it on several frames. And Momentous Bond, Manifold Bond, Primed Animalistics, Vacuum, all these things to fix surviving for the dog and fixing also some priming capabilities. I think we are only down to the most obvious, but still gonna cover it real quick. The Archon Shards, of course the Tau Forged Violet's Archon Shards with melee critical damage if energy is over 500. Science Kullervo is on Comfy 641, it's just the use of primed flow mode. And I think all that is left to go into some tryhard version of hunting for the damage cap. Okay, I think I'm ready to send some damage cap. Oh, there we go. Yep. Minus. Oh, again. Oh, look at this. Boom. You get to do damage on more enemies. Yeah, but I wanted... Oh, sorry, my man. I wasn't really aiming into you. You just spawned in the wrong spot. Okay, I think it should be enough. Like, the damage cap ain't that hard. Oh, look. Like, I keep forgetting power throw is just the big game changer to, like, throw without it. I mean, the damage defense crazy without it. Yeah, but it would be all from me for now. My favorite frame, my main frame, the melee god Kullervo. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe for me, please. And as always, see ya in the next one.